The massive hologram of Ambassador Crix filled the United Earth Command Center. His forearms crossed over his crystalline chest, and his three eyes blazed with authority. Behind him, representatives from 57 alien civilizations stood, in judgment. "Humans of Earth," Crix began, his voice echoing through universal translators across every human colony. "The Galactic Council has reached its decision. Your species has been deemed too dangerous to exist freely among civilized races." Admiral James stood at the center of Earth's response team. His weathered face showed no emotion as he listened to the charges. Around him, generals and scientists from every nation remained silent, their faces masks of calm. "Your history speaks for itself," Crix continued. "In merely 200 years since achieving faster-than-light travel, you have refused to abandon your primitive weapons. You maintain military forces while other species have evolved beyond violence. You compete rather than cooperate. You question rather than comply." The alien ambassador's middle eye narrowed. "Most disturbing of all, you have developed something no other species possesses, the ability to adapt to any environment, to survive what should kill you, to thrive where others perish. Your biological resilience combined with your aggressive nature makes you a threat to galactic peace." General Park from the Korean Federation leaned toward Admiral James. "They fear us," she whispered. "As they should," James replied quietly. Crix raised his upper arms. "Therefore, the Council presents you with three choices. First, accept complete disarmament and genetic modification to remove your aggressive traits. Become docile and productive members of galactic society." The human delegation remained motionless. "Second, accept permanent quarantine. Return to your home system. We will establish an impenetrable barrier around your solar system. You may never leave and no one may enter. Live out your species' existence in isolation." Still, the humans said nothing. "Or third," Crix's voice dropped to a growl, "face the combined might of the Galactic Council's peacekeeping fleet. We have 7,000 ships prepared to glass every human world if you refuse the first two options. You have 72 Earth hours to respond." The hologram flickered and died. The command center remained silent for exactly 3 seconds. Then Admiral James turned to his team. "Send the response." "Sir?" Captain Wilson asked. "Which option?" James smiled, a cold, calculating expression that would have terrified any council member had they seen it. "None of them. Send them File Omega." Across the galaxy, council members waited in their grand chamber aboard the station called Harmony. They expected fear, perhaps negotiation, maybe even angry defiance. What they received was a single data packet. When opened, it contained historical records, not of humanity's wars or violence, but something far more unsettling. It showed humans surviving nuclear winter, adapting to toxic atmospheres, thriving in zero gravity, rebuilding after plagues that killed billions. It showed humans turning deserts into gardens, ice worlds into colonies, and dead rocks into thriving cities. At the bottom was a simple message: "We are not trapped in here with you. You are trapped out there with us." Crix's three eyes widened as he read the tactical assessment attached. Humanity had spent 2 centuries not just exploring space, but preparing. Every asteroid was a potential weapon. Every colony was self-sufficient. Every human was trained from childhood in survival. Their ships were smaller but faster. Their weapons were primitive but effective. Most terrifying was the final note: "We have survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and nuclear holocaust on one planet. We now inhabit 300 worlds. Each one is prepared to fight. Each one is prepared to survive. Each one remembers that you threatened our existence." The council chamber erupted in nervous chatter. The peaceful species had never encountered anything like this, a race that didn't threaten or negotiate, but simply stated facts. Ambassador Crix turned to his fellow council members, his crystalline skin flickering with anxiety. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach." But it was too late. The humans had already begun to move. Admiral James stood before the Strategic Command's War Council, the blue glow of Earth visible through the reinforced windows. The room held 50 of humanity's most brilliant military minds, each one selected, not for their aggression, but for their ability to think beyond conventional warfare. "Status report," James commanded. Colonel Smith from Mars Command spoke first. "All 300 human colonies have received the Prometheus Protocol. Defense grids are online. Civilian populations have been moved to hardened shelters. Industrial centers have switched to wartime production." "Europa Station has something interesting," interrupted Dr. Liu, the head of Research Division. "The Council's barrier technology, the one they threatened to trap us with. We've been studying their energy signatures for decades. We can replicate it?" James raised an eyebrow. Meaning we can trap them in their own sectors if needed. Turn their prison into ours." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had spent 2 centuries being underestimated, treated as newcomers, as primitives who stumbled into space. The established races never realized that humans learned from every interaction, studied every technology, and adapted every strategy. "The Council expects us to respond with emotion," General Park observed. "They expect fear or rage. They don't understand that we've moved beyond that." James nodded. "Show them Operation Silent Storm." The main screen lit up with tactical displays. Throughout human space, ships were moving, not toward Council territory but into seemingly random positions. Mining vessels changed course. Cargo haulers adjusted their routes. Research stations powered up dormant systems. To the Council's observers, it looked like panic, like disorganized preparation. They couldn't see the pattern because they didn't understand human thinking. Each movement was calculated. Each ship was positioning itself perfectly. Captain Wilson pulled up intercepted Council communications. "They're confused, sir. Their tactical computers can't identify our strategy." "Because they think in terms of fleets and formations," James replied. "We think in terms of survival and adaptation. Contact the colony ships." Deep in space, 17-generation ships, vessels the Council had dismissed as failed colonization attempts, powered up systems that had been dormant for decades. These weren't failures. They were seed ships designed to ensure humanity's survival even if Earth fell. Each ship carried a complete genetic bank, industrial fabricators, and something the Council couldn't conceive of: volunteers who had agreed to spend their lives in space ensuring their species would endure. "Sir, incoming transmission from the Council," the communications officer announced. Crix appeared on screen again, his crystalline form flickering with what humans had learned was anxiety. "Admiral James, your ship movements concern us. We urge you to reconsider. The Council offers one final chance." "Ambassador," James interrupted, his voice steady as steel. "Have you ever heard of the Cold War?" Crix's 3 eyes blinked in confusion. "I do not understand the reference." "2 of our nations once aimed thousands of nuclear weapons at each other. Neither fired. Not because they were peaceful, but because they understood mutual destruction. The Council has made a critical error." "What error?" Crix demanded. "You threatened our existence. Every human child learns our history, how we survived extinction events, how we adapted, how we endured. We don't just prepare for war, Ambassador. We prepare for aftermath. We prepare for the unthinkable." James gestured, and new data transmitted to the Council. It showed human colonies with underground cities built to withstand orbital bombardment. It showed biodomes that could preserve life even if atmospheres were destroyed. It showed children in schools learning chemistry and physics alongside history and art. Each one a potential survivor, each one carrying the knowledge to rebuild. "Your peacekeeping fleet has 7,000 ships," James continued. "Impressive. But we have 8 billion humans. Each one knows how to make fire, grow food, build shelter. Each one carries the genetic diversity to restart our species. How many of your people know how to survive without your technology?" The question hung in the air. The Council races had evolved beyond physical hardship. They lived in perfect comfort, their every need met by automation. The thought of survival without their systems was incomprehensible. "This is not a threat, Ambassador," James added. "It's a statement of fact. You can destroy our worlds, but you cannot destroy humanity. We've survived worse with less, and this time, we're prepared. Crix's form shimmered. The council will discuss your response. The transmission ended. Around the war room, officers exchanged glances. Think they'll back down? Captain Wilson asked. James looked out at Earth, blue and beautiful and fragile. It doesn't matter. We prepare for both outcomes. That's what humans do. The council reconvened an emergency session. The great chamber that had seen 10,000 years of peaceful deliberation now buzzed with unprecedented anxiety. Species that had evolved beyond violence found themselves confronting something they couldn't comprehend, a race that embraced conflict as a tool of survival. The humans are insane, declared Ambassador Vreen of the Ethereal Collective, her gaseous form swirling in agitation. They speak of mutual destruction as if it were rational. Perhaps that is precisely the point, responded Elder Tarn, the ancient synthetic intelligence that governed 3 star systems. They have survived through controlled insanity. They weaponize unpredictability. Crix stood at the center, his crystalline body reflecting the nervous energy of his peers. They've positioned ships throughout their territory, but our analysts cannot determine their strategy. It follows no known military doctrine. Show us their movements again, requested High Mediator Grell. The holographic display filled the chamber, showing human space as a 3-dimensional web of moving vessels. Mining ships, cargo haulers, research stations, military craft, all moving in seeming chaos. Wait, Elder Tarn's mechanical voice carried sudden understanding. Analyze the positions not as fleet movements, but as chemical structures. The display, reformed, connecting the dots. The council members gasped, a sound that transcended species. The human ships had positioned themselves to mirror the molecular structure of antimatter. They wouldn't, Vreen whispered. Our intelligence confirms it, Crix said grimly. Each ship carries refined materials. If triggered simultaneously, the chain reaction would create dead zones throughout this section of the galaxy. Zones where our technology cannot function, but they would die too, protested Grell. That's the point, Elder Tarn explained. They're showing us they're willing to destroy everything rather than submit. This is their nature, the survivor's ultimatum. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral James received an unexpected visitor. Captain Ana Rodriguez, commander of the stealth ship Ghost, materialized in his office through a localized teleport, technology the Council didn't know humans possessed. Admiral, Phase 1 complete. We've mapped every Council world, every fleet position, every supply line. James studied the data she provided. How did the Council never detect our reconnaissance? Rodriguez smiled. They scan for their own technology. Our ships use a hybrid of 17 different alien technologies combined in ways they never imagined possible. We're invisible because we're impossible by their standards. And the virus? Deployed. It's dormant in their networks, but if activated, it will shut down their automated systems. Not enough to kill them, just enough to force them to remember how to survive without machines. James leaned back. We're not monsters, Captain. We don't want genocide. We want understanding. Will they understand, sir? They'll have to. Show them the Mars recording. Back in the Council chamber, a new transmission arrived. This time it wasn't a threat or negotiation. It was historical footage from Mars, dated 50 years ago. The video showed a catastrophic failure of a colony dome. 300,000 humans were exposed to the Martian atmosphere. By Council standards, they should have died in minutes. Instead, the footage showed humans working together. Children helping seal breaches while holding their breath. Adults sharing emergency oxygen. Engineers building improvised shelters from wreckage. In 17 hours, they had restored life support. Death toll, 43 out of 300,000. This is impossible, Vreen stated. No species can survive such trauma. The next video was from Colony New Siberia, where a plague had killed 80% of the population. The survivors didn't wait for rescue. They quarantined, developed antibodies, and rebuilt. Within a generation, their population had recovered. Video after video showed the same pattern. Disasters that would end other civilizations became stories of human endurance. Admiral James appeared on screen. You judge us as aggressive because we prepare for conflict. You fear us because we won't submit. But you misunderstand us fundamentally. We don't seek war, we seek survival. And we've learned that survival means being ready for anything. He paused, letting his words sink in. The Council has existed for 10,000 years in peace because you eliminated species that wouldn't conform. But peace without strength is not peace, it's stagnation. We offer something different. What? Crix asked. Partnership. Real partnership. You have technology and wisdom. We have resilience and adaptability. Together we could face threats you haven't imagined yet. Threats from outside our galaxy. Threats from dimensions you haven't discovered. Threats that your peaceful nature leaves you unprepared for. The council chamber fell silent. For the first time in millennia, they faced a choice that couldn't be solved by committee. Elder Tarn was the first to break the silence in the council chamber. The ancient AI's processors had been running probability calculations since the human transmission ended. I have analyzed 4 million scenarios. In every simulation where we attack humanity, galactic civilization collapses within 100 years. Explain, demanded Crix, his crystalline form pulsing with disbelief. The humans are correct. We have evolved beyond conflict. But in doing so, we have lost crucial survival capabilities. If we destroy them, we eliminate the only species capable of defending against unknown threats. If we fail to destroy them, they will likely conquer us out of necessity. Only partnership ensures mutual survival. Ambassador Vreen's gaseous form darkened. You're suggesting we ally with these primitives? I'm stating mathematical certainty, Tarn replied. Observe. The chamber's display shifted to show the galaxy's edge. 3 months ago, our deep space monitors detected an anomaly. Something is approaching from intergalactic space. Our peaceful fleets are not equipped to investigate potential threats. Before anyone could respond, another transmission arrived from Admiral James. Council members, I assume your long-range sensors have detected the approaching objects. We've been tracking them for 6 months. The council members exchanged shocked glances. Human technology shouldn't have that range. James continued, We've already dispatched scout ships to investigate. Would you like to see what we found? Without waiting for permission, the data streamed in. The objects weren't natural. They were ships, massive constructs of unknown origin, moving at speeds that defied council understanding of physics. Our analysis suggests they're automated harvester vessels. Captain Rodriguez appeared beside James. They consume entire star systems for resources. Based on their trajectory, they'll reach council space in 18 months. And human space? Crix asked. 6 months after that, James replied. Which means we have a choice. Face them separately and fall separately, or stand together. High Mediator Grell's many tentacles writhed in distress. Even if what you say is true, the Council cannot simply abandon 10,000 years of precedent. Then don't, James said simply. Modify it. You say we're too aggressive? Fine. Make us your shield. You fear our adaptability? Use it. You want peace? Let us be the ones who ensure it. You would accept being the Council's military? Crix asked suspiciously. James shook his head. Not your military, your partners. You continue to govern, to maintain peace among member species. We handle external threats and exploration of dangerous regions, separate but equal. Dr. Liu stepped forward. We've prepared a proposal. Human space remains autonomous but allied. We establish joint research stations. Our adaptability combined with your technology. Our survival instincts balanced by your wisdom. And if we refuse? Vreen asked. James's expression hardened. Then we defend ourselves alone, and when those harvester ships arrive, we'll survive them too. We always do. The question is whether you will. On Mars, General Park watched the exchange while reviewing humanity's true defensive capabilities. The Council knew about their visible fleet, But not about the Shadow Fleet, ships built in the asteroid belt, crewed by volunteers who lived their entire lives in space. "General," her aide reported, "Project Lazarus is ready." She nodded. Lazarus was humanity's ultimate contingency, dormant colonies hidden in rogue asteroids, powered down and undetectable, carrying everything needed to restart human civilization. Even total annihilation of known human space wouldn't end their species. Back in the council chamber, Elder Tarn had finished new calculations. "I propose a test, one joint mission against the approaching threat. If humans prove themselves capable, partners, we formalize the alliance. If they prove too dangerous, we maintain our original position." "That's acceptable," James responded immediately. "Send your best scientists and we'll send ours. Together we'll investigate these harvester ships." Crix's three eyes focused on different council members, reading their positions. The peaceful races were terrified but curious. The ancient races were calculating probabilities. The younger races seemed almost excited by the possibility of working with humans. "The council will vote," Crix announced. The process took only minutes. Throughout the galaxy, representatives cast their choices. The result appeared on the central display: 43 in favor, 14 against. "The motion passes," Crix declared, his tone carrying neither victory nor defeat. "Humanity will join the expedition against the unknown threat." Admiral James nodded. "We'll prepare our best ship and crew. But understand something, Council. This isn't us submitting to you, or you accepting us. This is evolution. The galaxy is changing, and we all must adapt. Or perish," Elder Tarn added quietly. As the transmission ended, James turned to his staff. "Ready the Prometheus. It's time to show them what humanity can really do." The joint expedition ship Convergence floated at the edge of known space, a hybrid marvel of human engineering and council technology. Captain Rodriguez commanded the human contingent, while Science Director Kyle of the Council oversaw the alien specialists. The integration had been rocky at first, 2 weeks of cultural clashes and technological incompatibilities. But now, as they approached the mysterious harvester ships, something had changed. "Human Rodriguez," Kyle's melodic voice carried across the bridge. "Your suggestion about randomizing shield frequencies, it's working." Rodriguez smiled. The Council's shields were superior but predictable. Human chaotic thinking had transformed them into something entirely new. "Contact in 30 seconds, Lieutenant Johnson announced. The bridge fell silent. Through the view screen, they could see them, 12 massive vessels, each the size of a moon, moving in perfect formation. Their hulls seemed to absorb light, making them appear as holes in space itself. "They're scanning us," reported the sensor officer, a four-armed. Being named Dex, what happened next shocked everyone. The harvester ship stopped. Then they transmitted. The message was simple mathematics at first, establishing communication protocols. But as the universal translators adapted, words formed. Biological-technological hybrid detected. Classification. Unprecedented. Query. Purpose. Rodriguez and Kyle exchanged glances. The harvesters were artificial intelligences, but far more advanced than anything in council space. "We seek understanding," Rodriguez responded. "We are explorers." "Incorrect. You are evolved. Biological aggression merged with technological peace. You are what we seek." The bridge erupted in confusion, but Rodriguez raised her hand for silence. "Explain." The lead harvester transmitted data, millions of years of history compressed into seconds. They were not invaders but gardeners, ancient AIs left by a long-dead civilization to find and cultivate species that could survive the universe's ultimate challenge. "The universe is dying," the harvester explained. "Entropy increases. In 4 billion years, no current civilization will survive. We seek those who might transcend." "And you think we can?" Kale asked. "Not separately. Council species. Technologically advanced, socially evolved, physically weak. Humans, adaptable, resilient, Primitive. Together. Possibility. Dr. Liu, who had been analyzing the data, spoke up. They're right. Their projections show that pure technology fails against entropy, pure biology fails against time, but a species that truly merges both could survive the heat death of the universe. Kyle finished, his voice filled with awe. Back at Earth, Admiral James received the transmission. With the rest of humanity in the Council, the revelation had transformed everything. The harvesters weren't a threat, they were a test. They've been watching, James told the assembled leaders, waiting for species to naturally develop this hybrid approach. The Council's peace and our aggression, their technology and our adaptability. Neither is wrong. Both are necessary. On the convergence, the harvester continued. We offer knowledge, technologies to extend stellar life cycles, methods to preserve consciousness beyond physical form, but only to the worthy. And what makes us worthy? Rodriguez asked. You questioned our arrival with curiosity, not fear. You united despite differences. You adapted to each other. This is rare. In 12 million years, only 3 species have achieved this. What happened to them? Kyle asked. They evolved beyond this dimension. They wait for others to join them. The implications were staggering. Humanity and the Council weren't just forming an alliance. They were potentially taking the first steps toward a transformation beyond current understanding. We need time to consider this, Rodriguez said. Time you have. We will remain at these coordinates for 1 orbital period. Decide. The harvesters powered down their engines, waiting. In the Council chamber, debates raged. Some members wanted to flee. Others wanted to accept immediately. But it was Elder Tarn who provided clarity. For 10,000 years we avoided conflict, thinking it was evolution. The humans embraced it, thinking it was survival. Both were incomplete truths. True evolution requires balance. Admiral James appeared on the main screen. The Council was right about one thing. Humanity is dangerous alone. But so is the Council in its pure pacifism. Together, we're something new, something that can face entropy itself. Crix stood, his crystalline form resonating with decision. Then let us vote not on whether to ally with humanity, but whether to evolve alongside them. The vote was unanimous. Back on the convergence, Rodriguez and Kyle stood side by side as they transmitted their response to the harvesters. We accept your knowledge, but on one condition. We share it with all species willing to grow. The harvester's response carried something that might have been satisfaction. This is why you are worthy. Evolution shared is evolution multiplied. As the data transfer began, Rodriguez turned to Kyle. Think we're ready for this? Kyle's expression, alien, as it was, somehow conveyed hope. Separately? No. Together? We'll adapt. That's what humans do. Rodriguez smiled. That's what we all do now, Kyle corrected. And in that moment, the galaxy changed forever.